Good morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today. I have another actor, but he's not just an actor, he's a composer, an actor, and an influencer. I love that title, influencer. Aaron Fullan, welcome to Moments, Aaron.
Thank you, Andy. I'm so honored to be here.
You're with the Treasure Coast Talent folks, and I've interviewed several of those folks, and just God's just using that talent agency to reach to so many people in TV and film, and it's good to.
Indeed. Yeah, Gene Wenger of Treasure Coast Talent is, whenever anyone's looking into getting into acting, uh, I will tell you after doing much research, Gene is probably the only one that I know of doing incredible work in the faith-based
Yeah,
industry.
yeah, absolutely, yes, absolutely. Well, Aaron, tell me about yourself. What do you do and why do you do it?
Well, that's a loaded question, Andy. So as you mentioned, actor, composer, influencer. It's kind of the three things that I'm mainly focused on right now, and it's been a journey to get here. When I was very young, I have always been a huge fan of film music, and uh, much to the chagrin of people around me, my friends did not understand my music preferences at the time. But I would save up and my money when I was like 10, 11 years old to buy, the Star Wars soundtracks and things like that. And it was just so, I was very alone in those pursuits. But looking back, I just see how the Lord puts things on your heart from a very young age.
Yeah,
And I so appreciate how my parents cultivated that interest that they noticed very early on. My dad took me to a John Williams concert when I was 18 years old as a graduation present. One of my favorite memories with my dad, went into Chicago and enjoyed that night. And it was that night that I decided I want to be a film composer. And I didn't know how. I live in Iowa, Andy, so it's not the entertainment capital of the world by any means. So I didn't know how that was going to present itself, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I also loved acting. I did acting in high school, but it was never something I thought I would do as a career. Again, part of the unlikelihood of it happening in this area. And I wanted to stay in the Midwest. This was our home. Shortly after college, I got married, started a family. So again, it didn't make sense to do something drastic like moving to the West Coast or anything. So I thought, you know what, Lord, you are so much bigger than people's expectations. And so some people will definitely tell you you're disadvantaged if you stay in the Midwest pursuing a career in entertainment. But the God we serve is not limited the way we think he is. Long story short, I pitched the idea to an entrepreneur that I worked for. I said, if you'll fund my I was, again, fresh out of college, married, starting to have kids, did not have money for a studio. And so I pitched the idea to this entrepreneur and said, if you fund my first studio, all of what you see behind me, this is my studio now. Um, I will write music for you and all your commercials and everything that you're doing for free. And he listened to my pitch and he's like, go for it. So he funded my first studio in the basement of our apartment. We I would go down there at all hours of the day and just work and work and work. I have a degree in music ministry, but no film composing training. So it was literally me just watching YouTube videos and working my heart, not my heart off, working my tail off with all my heart. And so over time, I just started gaining more opportunities and I was getting better and connected with some people in the industry out on the West Coast um, who really helped me plug in and really pitch me for work. And then acting came along during the pandemic. Um, Gene Wenger reached out to me and of Treasure Coast Talent, and she had been watching some of my comedy sketches. I do a lot of comedy sketches on social media, and she said, "Hey, I think you have acting talent. Would you want to audition for my roster?" And I said, "Wow, Lord, 13 years after I thought maybe I'd love to do acting, you seem to be opening the door." And then, sure enough, she signed me 2 weeks later. And the first gig I got was with Samaritan's Purse, doing promoting their Operation Christmas Child, um, which was less than a month after signing with Gene. And anyway, and as soon as I was on a set, I got the bug, and I was like, "Yep, this is what I want to do." Uh, and then lastly, the social media part. That's kind of how I got my foot in the door, with Gene, and then it has grown since then. And it's been an interesting journey to get to this point, but I do earn some income from social media now. And the Lord has been so faithful in opening doors at the right time. Last year, totally blown out of the water, a local manufacturing company here in the area named called Fulton Corp. I worked for them for a year when I desperately needed a job. Um, and I worked for them for a year. The owner of the company is a Christian. And um, he came to me about a year after I stopped working for them and said, "I know what you want to do with your life. And I know that you have a family, you're raising a family, and that can be an incredible challenge to try and pursue a career in the industry you're pursuing and focus on, I need to bring in a paycheck." He said, "I want to alleviate that for you for a year." So he put me on payroll at Fulton Corp. I was no longer working for them, but for a year, they paid my salary to enable me to really do as much as I could to advance my career. So that just ended in March, and the Lord has been faithfully providing here, almost 2 months in. Um, so I've just seen over and over again, number one, the Lord makes it pretty clear what he wants you to be doing. I think sometimes we overcomplicate, like, "Oh Lord, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
What am I gifted at? What am I, and we overthink it. And I've had these interests, Andy, since I was young. And that proverb about train a child in the way he should go, it's not necessarily it. I mean, it definitely applies right and wrong, but it also, you can tell early on what your child's interested in and
Yeah.
perhaps how the Lord has gifted them. And I give credit to my parents. They helped me along this way. And so, number one, don't overthink it. I think the Lord gives you very specific, if you're seeking him, very specific uh, desires for what you should be doing. And number two, trust him to open the doors and close the doors. That is a hard prayer to pray sometimes, that I have prayed. Great opportunity comes along, I pray, "Lord, if this is something that's going to benefit you and advance your kingdom, let it happen. If not, make it so obviously a no." Um, and he does that. And I'm just so appreciative of when you are faithful to him. He is so incredibly good about opening and closing doors. So there's my story, Andy, in a
God,
nutshell.
I've often said, God knows your heart. It's up to us to hear his voice.
Mm,
And there are times where doors are shut and we try to open them and we open them anyway.
mm,
And those are the times in my life I'm thinking, boy, I wish I'd gone through that door. And God says, I tried to close it for you, but you
right.
just kicked it open. Now, there's nothing wrong with rattling the handle of a door to see what God
Oh,
has for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
But unless you know this is an open door where God wants you to go through, you could be going in the wrong direction. Um, Speed is not near as important as direction. So
Mm,
so I see a lot of
so
people
true.
going full speed ahead, but in the wrong direction. So
Yes.
it's so important to not get ahead of God. I love what you said about not overthinking things. And not only did God meet your needs and and opened a great story about how God supplied that whole year of income. And
Yeah.
but not only did he meet your needs about being an actor, but he also that he rekindled that composer in you as well, didn't he? There was
Yes.
you. Some of you listening today, most of you listening today, has heard Aaron's music, and you just don't know it. I'm just
Right.
telling you. You've heard his music and you don't know it. You were blessed to do the opening music for a very famous TV series right now, right?
Right. Yeah, The Chosen. So, uh, crazy story behind that. I had been given an opportunity to work with an international brand. This was last year, the beginning of last year, and it was again an international contest. They had selected me to produce a 2-week series for them, and it was going to be an incredible opportunity, monetarily, exposure-wise. And so I was working with their creative team, and sadly, due to someone high up in the company who had apparently done a little research on what I believe and what I feel strongly about, specifically my pro-life views, um, they dropped me from the campaign, and it was a very hard thing to go through. And the creative team I was working with, to their credit, was very unhappy with the decision, um, but couldn't do anything about it. And so after that, I was feeling a little defeated and deflated. And crazily enough, like a day or two after that, I heard from the head of Angel Studios, one of the heads of Angel Studios, who produces The Chosen. It distributes it. Um, Jeff Harmon reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're starting a brand new studio called Angel Studios." So this was early in its conception. Before that, they were VidAngel, and we need music for our opening intro sequence. You know how MGM has the lion and Universal has the earth and all that kind of stuff. They were creating that, and they said, "We want to bring you on board to write the music for this." And so the timing was incredible, the opportunity was incredible, and they literally said, when I was writing it and working with him, he's like, "Aaron, your music has the potential to be heard by potentially billions of people." I think they just reached 400 million views on The Chosen. So it's just crazy when take time to pause and think about that. It was an incredible opportunity. I'm so grateful for Angel.
Wow, what a great story, Aaron. God has blessed you, and has you, and I'm sure you're going to be sharing some of these stories over and over again to other folks. And he's got blessings for you in the future as well. I'm going to put down below, depending on where you're seeing this. You may some platforms you may not see it, but on my Facebook and YouTube platforms, you could look at how you could get a hold of him, his credits, and information about him. You want a song written for your TV show or your radio or your movie. He's the guy, and so down below you'll see those sites. More important than that, when you're listening to this interview, and many of you know exactly what I'm going to say, I want you to take the time and pray for Aaron right now, that God would continue to bless him and his family and his ministry, his writing, his singing, or his composing, his acting, that God would just continue to bless him so Christ's name could be uplifted. And God, he's this young man's got a heart for God, and I want you to be praying for him if you'll do that for me. Uh,
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for sharing that with your heart today, and thank you for joining us for Morning Moments. And if you would, please keep coming back for some more Morning Moments. And God bless you.